He didn't try to hide
The same
it. He
plastic
didn't
bag that
whisper
you
it.
took out with
He
you
didn't keep it to
on the early
himself.
hours of
He
Friday
wrote
the
it
24th of
publicly.
October,
Tonight,
when we've
I'm
just
going
seen you
to
in
kill
in
my
that
mother.
CCTV footage.
For most people reading it, it looked like another disturbing post from a troubled teenager, the kind of message that appears online every day and is quickly ignored, dismissed as attention-seeking or dark humor. But this wasn't a joke. By the time anyone realized that, it was already too late. Angela Shelley's was 45 years old. To those who knew her, she was more than just a mother. She was the kind of person who held people together, a daughter, a sister, a friend, a colleague, someone who made sacrifices quietly, without expecting anything in return. After separating from her husband, she moved back to North Wales, hoping to rebuild a stable life for herself and her two sons. She worked as a teaching assistant at a local high school, choosing a job that allowed her to spend more time with her family. Her life wasn't easy, but it was filled with purpose, and most importantly, it revolved around her children. Her younger son, Tristan Roberts, was 18 years old, and something about him had changed. It didn't happen overnight. There was no single moment where everything suddenly broke. Instead, it was slow, subtle, almost invisible at first. He became more withdrawn, more isolated, spending hours, then days online. Conversations at home became shorter, his patience thinner, his anger harder to understand. Angela noticed. Of course she did. She tried to help him, again and again. But whatever was happening inside Tristan's mind, it was getting worse. Online, he was a different person. On Discord, he didn't hide his thoughts. He expressed them, repeatedly, obsessively. He wrote about his hatred of women, about distrust, about resentment that had been building for years. I hate girls. I don't trust them. These weren't just random outbursts, they were patterns, and patterns become dangerous. What no one fully understood at the time was how far those thoughts had already gone. Because Tristan wasn't just talking anymore, he was planning. And that message, "Tonight's the night," it wasn't just words, it was a countdown. Tristan's world existed almost entirely online. Hours turned into nights. Nights turned into a routine. Scrolling, watching, reading, repeating. But what he consumed wasn't normal entertainment. It was darker, more specific, more dangerous. He became fascinated with fictional serial killers, not just casually interested, obsessed. He studied them, analyzed them, replayed their actions over and over again. For Tristan, characters like Dexter Morgan and Patrick Bateman weren't just fictional, they were examples. People who acted without hesitation, without empathy, without consequences, at least not in the way ordinary people understood them. And slowly, something changed. He stopped seeing them as characters and started seeing them as something else, something to learn from.
The same plastic bag that you took out with you on the early hours of Friday the 24th of October,
in the way he spoke.
when we've just seen you in that
Talked about
CCTV
violence
footage.
casually, almost comfortably, as if it was something distant, theoretical, unreal. But it wasn't. Discord moderators removed him multiple times. His accounts were banned, again and again and again. But he always came back, with new usernames, new identities, 16 in total, each one carrying the same thoughts, the same anger, the same direction. And with every return, the messages became clearer, more focused, more intentional. He wasn't just angry anymore, he was preparing.
Tristan waited. That's what made it different. That's what made it dangerous. He didn't act impulsively. He didn't lose control. He waited. He waited until he turned 18, because he understood something important. At 18, he could legally buy what he needed. Weapons. Not just one, multiple. Knives, hammers, axes. Each one selected,
each one intentional. But the most disturbing detail wasn't the weapons, it was what he bought alongside them. A dictaphone, a recording device. This wasn't about just committing a crime. This was about documenting it, preserving it, reliving it. Weeks before the attack, he began preparing, quietly, carefully. He hid items in his room: black clothing, gloves, a balaclava, a backpack. Everything placed where no one would immediately question it. But Angela had started noticing small things, unusual things, concerning things. She wrote them down in her diary: black balaclava, gloves, concealed hammer. She was afraid, but she didn't give up on him. She kept trying to understand, to help, to fix something that was already slipping beyond her reach. And Tristan? He continued writing. He spoke about revenge, about justice, about feeling betrayed, abandoned. He blamed her. And at some point, the plan stopped being an idea. It became something real.
The house was quiet. It was early morning, still dark outside. The kind of silence that feels heavier than usual. Angela was inside, in pain, recovering from a knee injury, using a crutch to walk. She had no idea what was about to happen. Tristan did. He had already decided, already committed, already crossed the line in his mind. He approached her, calm, controlled. "Let's go outside," he said. "There's someone who can help." There was no reason to doubt him. He was her son, and she trusted him. That trust would cost her everything. 3:30 a.m. CCTV cameras captured them, walking together, along a railway crossing. Angela struggling
That's the
slightly
same plastic
each
bag
step.
that you took out with you
Ground
in the
uneven.
early hours of
Her
Friday the
movement
24th
slow,
of October.
careful.
When we first seen you
Tristan walked
in the
beside her,
CCTV
carrying
footage.
a backpack. Inside it was the weapon. To anyone watching, it looked ordinary. A mother and son, out late, walking somewhere together. But nothing about it was ordinary. Every step brought them closer to a place where no one would hear her, no one would see, no one would stop it. They reached the nature reserve, quiet, isolated, empty. Tristan told her to sit on a bench, and then he opened the bag. Inside the recording, there's a moment, a shift, a realization. Angela understood, and she screamed. What followed wasn't quick, it wasn't silent, it wasn't accidental. It was deliberate, repeated, and it was recorded. Hours later, investigators would listen to it. Every second, every sound. A crime captured in real time.
When it was over, Tristan didn't panic. He didn't run. He dragged the body across gravel, into undergrowth. Then he left, alone. CCTV captured him again, walking back, as if nothing had happened. Later, he returned, with chemicals, trying to erase what he had done. But some things can't be erased. Later that morning, a message appeared from Angela's phone. Her older son had written, worried, "Is everything okay?" The reply came, "Yes, she's asleep." But it wasn't her, it was him. Then another message, "Just call me so I know you're alive." The response, "I think I am alive," followed by a laughing emoji. By then, the truth was already buried, but not for long, because this time, the message wasn't ignored, and neither was what happened next.
By the time the truth fully came to light, it was already impossible to ignore. The evidence was overwhelming, not just physical evidence, but but digital footprints, recordings, messages, a trail that painted a clear and disturbing picture of intent. This wasn't a crime committed in a moment of anger. It had been planned, carefully, deliberately. When Tristan Roberts was arrested, he didn't resist. He didn't try to run. He didn't even try to explain himself. During police interviews, he gave the same response over and over again. No comment. 9 interviews, 9 times, silence. But his silence didn't protect him, because the evidence spoke for him. Investigators examined his laptop. What they found added another layer to the case. Hours spent online every day, messages filled with hatred, posts describing violent thoughts, and most chilling of all, clear statements of intent. This is Tristan Roberts. Tonight, I'm going to kill my mother. It wasn't just written, it was recorded. In court, the details unfolded slowly, piece by piece, each revelation heavier than the last. The prosecution described a young man driven by anger, resentment, and a growing fixation on violence. A person who believed he had been wronged, who justified his actions as something else, something twisted, revenge, justice, vengeance. But for Angela's family, none of those words meant anything. There was no justification, no explanation that could make sense of what had happened. Her sister, Sarah Gunther, addressed him directly, her voice steady but filled with emotion. She spoke about loss, about the impact of her actions, about the pain that would never fully disappear. "We tried to help you," she said. "We never gave up on you." And yet, here they were. Angela's older son, Ethan, couldn't be there in person, but his statement was read aloud. Every word carried the weight of confusion, grief, and disbelief. "I knew something was wrong," he said. "I could tell it wasn't her." He spoke about the messages, about the moment he realized that the person responding wasn't his mother. And the question that stayed with him, the one that had no answer: why? Why would someone take the life of the person who had given them everything? As the court proceedings continued, experts were called to evaluate Tristan's mental state. There had been discussions, diagnoses, autism, ADHD, a history of behavioral issues. But in the end, the conclusion was clear. He understood what he was doing. He knew, and he could have stopped. But he didn't. When the sentence was delivered, the courtroom fell silent. Life imprisonment, with a minimum term of 22.5 years. For some, it felt like justice. For others, it didn't feel like enough, because no sentence could undo what had been done. No punishment could bring Angela back. And in the end, what remained wasn't just a case, it wasn't just a crime. It was a story about warning signs that were missed, about a family that tried, and about a moment where everything could have been different, but wasn't.